Hello friends, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking a bit about the whole EPQ process really in general, and well, this whole thing is going to be about a 6-7 episode, haven't really decided yet, step guide to the whole EPQ process, whether you should do it, things to consider if you're doing it, and also laying out each of the sort of individual stages, so the planning, the research, the writing, and then finally the presentation, which you should I can tell you some resources that you should sort of find and access. I'll tell you about, all sorts of things about basically getting an A star. So without further ado, I myself got 49 out of 50 in the EPQ process. So I'm not exactly amazing, I'm not the top of the top. I haven't got the best grade ever. But there's a few things I could tell you, a few tips and advice I could give you about, everything that you should be doing for the whole EPQ. I myself, I will start off by saying, didn't really know too much of what my teacher thought. I don't know if it was to do with the teacher himself, but the whole process felt a bit weird. I didn't know if I was doing well. So that's the first thing, is that, try and, whichever thing you're choosing to do, try to not worry too much about, you do need to worry, but not to worry too much about is this the right thing? As long as you put the work in, which is probably my main tip, that's vital. Put the work in and you will get good grades. You will see something out of it. You'll get something out of it. So should you, this is the first episode which I'm talking about, should you consider doing an EPQ, and what are the main things to consider about it when first starting it? So my first few tips would probably be, is the EPQ you're taking, is it sort of tied in with your university offers? So one of my friends, he applied to the University of York, and it was A star AA was his offer, which that's quite high. Not really usual for York, but what the offer also came with was, if you get an A in your EPQ, we can take that down to be AAA instead. So obviously that's a significant advantage. Obviously AAA in your A levels is still, that's pretty hard to do, but he is a genius, so it made things slightly easier for him, to get into that university, which I'm sure he will. He hasn't got his results yet. So the next thing I'll recommend is something to do with your passions. You got to, through this whole thing, you've got to think when deciding to do it. Do you have a passion? Do you have something that you really enjoy doing? For me personally, it's a bit niche. I'm like a history nerd, so I picked my own favourite sort of history topic within the EPQ, because I thought I'm a bit bored of doing all the sort of history subject stuff, all that sort of curriculum. So why don't I do actually something I enjoy? So I chose something to do with history. One of my friends chose something else. I can't even remember what it was now, but yes, he just sort of basically choose something you enjoy, and you've got to really enjoy it, because the EPQ process is tough. It's tough. Added on to all the things you're doing with your 3A levels during sort of around December, January time, at least for me, which is sort of the the actual essay writing time. It can be pretty tough, especially if you've got other coursework alongside it. So just think, when you're just deciding whether to do an EPQ, a lot of people drop out when they realise, I've got to do coursework alongside my EPQ, so I really can't fit this in. I personally had 2 pieces of coursework and an EPQ, and I had to, work my socks off to get that all done and written alongside January mocks, which were a bit of a pain. So do consider that. If you just sometimes think, oh, maybe I might not have much of a work ethic, possibly at times, or I might not be really enjoying this EPQ topic. I'm only doing it because of the advantages I may get. It may actually cost you, if you choose to do an EPQ, it may cost your A-level grades, which are obviously more important than your EPQ grade, because your EPQ grades, it's only equivalent to about half an A-level, I think. So that's something to consider. Also, you need to, if you have a passion, you need to tie it in with your university degree as well. So what degree are you taking? So I'm doing history, as I love history. So I did a history related EPQ sort of project. So always make sure to try and tie it in with the subject you're going to do at university if you're going to university. It will be really helpful because some of the skills you learn, some of the kind of research skills, planning skills, all of that is it's very, very useful when considering whether to do an EPQ. To think about, so when you get into uni, you'll like have a head start in front of everyone. So you'll be able to, to have all these skills, have access to all these resources, which, other people won't be able to when you're writing essays or doing whatever you do at university. Is there anything else? I think that's pretty much it for my advice for EPQ. So my main thing is, do something you enjoy. Always try to pick something you enjoy, because if it gets boring, when times get tough, during the December time, as I said, when you're doing other coursework alongside it, that's going to be hard. You're going to have a hard time. So you've got to do something that you really enjoy. Next thing, does it time with your university offer? So is it going to help you, get your grades that you need to go into university? And are you prepared, to do all that sort of work during that December, January time? Because it's going to be tough. So sort of find your passion, find something you enjoy, and also be prepared to write a heck of a lot about it, not just the essay, because it's 5,000 words, but something, you've got to do with the planning and the research alongside it. That's about it, really. So this is episode 1, and I'll leave all the other episodes up here if you want to know something to do with the initial steps and the research and planning and writing and then the presentation. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Through any of the things, basically just to see if it's got articles on. So what this Google Scholar does is, instead of showing any old random, nonsense like that, it shows you academic, reliable, credible resources and documents that you can talk about. So